Jaskia's eyes met Rohan's in their final year of college. She was sitting in the library, buried under a pile of textbooks, and he walked in with a group of friends, laughing loudly. Their eyes locked, and Jaskia felt a spark she couldn't ignore. She quickly looked away, trying to focus on her notes, but she couldn't shake off the feeling that she'd just been hit by a truck. As fate would have it, they had a few classes together, and Jaskia found herself looking forward to those lectures more and more. Rohan was charming, kind, and had a quick wit that left her giggling. They started sitting together, and before long, their friendship blossomed into something more. Their first date was a nervous affair for Jaskia. She spent hours picking out the perfect outfit and rehearsing conversations in her head. Rohan took her to a quaint little cafe on the outskirts of town, where they talked for hours about everything and nothing. They discovered shared passions for music, movies, and adventure. The conversation flowed effortlessly, and Jaskia felt like she'd known Rohan forever. As the days turned into weeks, their bond grew stronger. They would take long walks hand in hand, exploring the city. Rohan would surprise Jaskia with her favorite flowers, and she would cook his favorite meals. Every moment they spent together felt like a dream. They would laugh, joke, and just be themselves around each other. Their first kiss was under the stars, on a rooftop overlooking the city. It was magical, and Jaskia knew in that moment that she was in love. Rohan's lips were soft, gentle, and everything she'd imagined. As they pulled away, gasping for air, Jaskia smiled up at him, and Rohan smiled back, his eyes shining with adoration. As the months passed, their love continued to grow. They would often talk about their future together, where they'd live, how many kids they'd have, and what kind of life they'd build. Jaskia felt like she'd found her soulmate in Rohan. But like all first loves, theirs was not without its challenges. They faced opposition from some of their friends and family who didn't think they were ready for such a serious commitment. Rohan's parents wanted him to focus on his career, while Jaskia's parents worried that they were too young to know what love truly meant. Despite the obstacles, Jaskia and Rohan held on to each other. They talked through their differences, and their love became the anchor that kept them strong. They proved that when you find your first love, and it's real, nothing can ever extinguish the flame that burns between you two. Years went by, and their love story became one for the ages. They got married in a beautiful outdoor ceremony, surrounded by friends and family. Jaskia wore a stunning white gown, and Rohan beamed with pride as he exchanged vows with the love of his life. Their love continued to flourish, and they built a life together. They had 2 beautiful children, traveled the world, and explored new passions. Through it all, Jaskia and Rohan remained each other's rock, supporting and loving each other every step of the way. Jaskia was a free-spirited artist, always chasing her dreams and living in the moment. She met Rohan at an art gallery opening, where her paintings were being showcased. Rohan was a writer, and his words captured the essence of Jaskia's art. They struck up a conversation, and Jaskia was drawn to Rohan's quirky sense of humor and passion for storytelling. As they explored the city together, Jaskia found herself falling for Rohan's charming and adventurous spirit. They would spend hours talking about art, literature, and life. Rohan's words brought Jaskia's paintings to life, and she found inspiration in his stories. Their relationship was a whirlwind of creativity and passion. They would collaborate on art projects, with Rohan writing poetry to accompany Jaskia's paintings. Their love was a masterpiece in the making, with every moment a brushstroke of color and emotion. But their love wasn't without its challenges. Rohan struggled with self-doubt, and Jaskia faced criticism for her unconventional art style. Together, they learned to support each other's passions and overcome their fears. As they navigated the ups and downs of life, Jaskia and Rohan's love remained a constant source of inspiration. They traveled to exotic locations, exploring new cultures and finding beauty in unexpected places. Their love story was a canvas of vibrant colors, with every moment a work of art. Years later, Jaskia's art studio was filled with memories of their time together. Rohan's words adorned the walls, and her paintings told the story of their love. They had built a life together, one that was full of creativity, passion, and love. Jaskia's art studio was a reflection of her soul, vibrant, eclectic, and full of life. She spent most of her days lost in a world of colors, textures, and emotions. Her paintings were a window into her heart, and people would often get lost in the stories they told. Rohan, the writer, stumbled upon Jaskia's art at a local gallery. He was captivated by the way her paintings seemed to dance with words, telling stories that resonated deep within him. He had to meet the artist, and when he did, he was struck by Jaskia's quirky sense of style and infectious laughter. Their first meeting was a spark of creativity, with ideas flowing freely between them. Rohan would write poetry inspired by Jaskia's art, and she would paint visuals that brought his words to life. Their collaboration was magic, and soon, they found themselves inseparable. As their relationship blossomed, Jaskia and Rohan explored the city together, finding hidden gems and inspiration in every corner. They would sit by the river, watching the sunset, and Rohan would read his latest poems aloud. Jaskia would paint the scenes he described, and the world around them would melt away. Their love was a work of art in progress, with every moment a brushstroke of color and emotion. They faced challenges, of course, critics who didn't understand Jaskia's unconventional style, and publishers who doubted Rohan's unique voice. But together they found the strength to persevere. One day, Rohan proposed an idea, a joint exhibition that would bring their art together in a way that would leave people breathless. Jaskia was hesitant at first, but Rohan's enthusiasm was contagious. They worked tirelessly, creating a multimedia experience that would blur the lines between art and literature. The night of the exhibition, the gallery was abuzz with anticipation. Jaskia's paintings adorned the walls, while Rohan's words danced across projections, weaving a narrative that drew the audience in. The room was filled with gasps of wonder, tears of joy, and applause that echoed through the night. As they stood together, basking in the glow of their triumph, Jaskia turned to Rohan and smiled. "This is us," she said, her eyes shining with tears. "This is our love story, told in colors and words." Rohan wrapped his arms around her, holding her close. "It's just the beginning," he whispered, his voice full of promise. And as they looked out at the sea of faces, they knew that their love would continue to inspire, to create, and to flourish, a masterpiece in the making. The exhibition was a turning point in their careers. Jaskia's art gained international recognition, and Rohan's writing was hailed as a masterpiece. They traveled the world, showcasing their work and inspiring others with their unique collaboration. As their love continued to grow, they found new ways to express it. Rohan would write sonnets on Jaskia's skin, using temporary tattoos as a canvas. Jaskia would paint murals in their home, depicting scenes from their favorite memories together. Their home became a reflection of their love, a vibrant, eclectic space filled with art, books, and music. They would spend hours cooking together, experimenting with flavors and ingredients from around the world. One day, Rohan surprised Jaskia with a trip to Paris, the city of love and art. They spent their days exploring the Louvre, the Musée d'Orsay, and the streets of Montmartre. At night, they would sit by the Seine, watching the stars twinkle above. In Paris, Rohan proposed to Jaskia with a poem he had written especially for her. The words poured out his heart, and Jaskia was overwhelmed with emotion. She said yes, and they shared a kiss under the Eiffel Tower. Their wedding was a celebration of art, love, and music. Jaskia wore a stunning gown adorned with hand-painted flowers, and Rohan wore a bespoke suit with a pocket watch engraved with their love poem. The ceremony was held in a beautiful garden, surrounded by friends, family, and their art. Years later, Jaskia and Rohan's love continued to inspire others. They taught workshops, sharing their creative process and the secrets of their enduring love. Their home was filled with laughter, music, and art, a testament to the power of love and creativity. One day, Jaskia turned to Rohan and said, "You know what I love most about our story?" Rohan smiled, curious. "What's that?" Jaskia's eyes sparkled. "It's that it's still being written. Every day, every moment, every brushstroke, every word. It's all part of our masterpiece." Rohan wrapped his arms around her, holding her close. "I love that too," he whispered. "And I love you. I love you too," Jaskia replied, her voice barely audible over the beating of their hearts.